Hello, welcome to Module 7, Humanitarian Law and Ethical Standards. Humanitarian law and ethical standards play a central role in guiding humanitarian operations, ensuring that humanitarian action respects the dignity and rights of affected populations. This module covers the principles of International Humanitarian Law, or IHL, the guiding ethical standards for humanitarian workers, and the importance of compliance with these regulations to ensure humanitarian aid is provided in a manner that is impartial, neutral, and in full respect of human rights. Understanding humanitarian law. International Humanitarian Law, IHL, often referred to as the laws of war, is a set of rules that seeks to limit the effects of armed conflict for humanitarian reasons. IHL governs the conduct of armed forces, provides protections for civilians, and ensures the humane treatment of prisoners of war and the wounded. Humanitarian organizations must operate within the confines of IHL to ensure their actions are legally sound and protect the rights of those affected by armed conflict. Key principles of IHL. Distinction. The distinction between civilians and combatants must be respected at all times. Civilians should not be targeted during military operations. Proportionality. Any military action must not cause harm to civilians that is excessive in relation to the anticipated military advantage. Humanity. Even in times of war, all people must be treated humanely, with respect for their dignity and rights. Geneva Conventions. The Geneva Conventions of 1949 and their additional protocols are the cornerstone of IHL. They provide guidelines on the treatment of wounded soldiers, prisoners of war, and civilians. Humanitarian organizations must operate in alignment with these conventions to ensure their activities are legal. Key ethical standards in humanitarian work. Ethical conduct in humanitarian aid is essential to maintain trust with affected populations and stakeholders. Humanitarian workers must adhere to ethical principles that prioritize the needs of the people they serve. Impartiality. Humanitarian organizations must provide aid solely based on need, without any discrimination based on race, religion, nationality, or political affiliation. Neutrality. Humanitarian workers should not take sides in conflicts, meaning they do not engage in hostilities or favor one party over another. Independence. Humanitarian organizations should remain independent of any political, military, or other agendas that may influence their operations. Accountability and transparency. Humanitarian organizations must be accountable to both affected populations and donors. This includes transparency in the allocation of resources, decision-making processes, and reporting on the outcomes of interventions. Human rights in humanitarian action. Human rights are fundamental to humanitarian operations. Humanitarian organizations are not only required to adhere to IHL but also to ensure that their operations respect the human rights of affected populations. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR, serves as the foundation for international human rights law. Humanitarian organizations must ensure that they are promoting and protecting the rights outlined in this declaration, such as the right to life, liberty, and security, as well as the right to food, shelter, and healthcare. Rights of vulnerable populations. Humanitarian workers should be especially mindful of the rights of vulnerable groups such as women, children, the elderly, disabled individuals, and minorities. Special attention must be given to preventing gender-based violence and ensuring that the rights of all individuals are respected. Ethical challenges in humanitarian action. Humanitarian workers often face difficult ethical dilemmas when working in conflict zones or areas affected by crisis. These challenges may involve balancing competing needs, navigating political pressures, and addressing resource limitations. Security versus assistance. Humanitarian organizations often face security challenges that can hinder their ability to provide aid. Workers may have to make difficult decisions about when and how to deliver assistance, balancing the need to help with the risks involved for both aid workers and beneficiaries. Cultural sensitivity. Humanitarian organizations must be aware of and respect the cultural norms and values of the populations they serve. Ignoring cultural practices or imposing foreign values can lead to resentment and undermine the effectiveness of interventions. Resource allocation. In situations where resources are limited, humanitarian organizations may have to make tough decisions about who receives aid and how it is distributed. These decisions should be made transparently and fairly to ensure equity and prevent favoritism. Compliance with humanitarian law and ethical standards. Humanitarian organizations must ensure compliance with IHL and ethical standards in all stages of their operations. This includes assessing potential risks, ensuring that staff are trained in legal and ethical principles, and establishing clear procedures for reporting violations. Monitoring and evaluation. Regular monitoring and evaluation of humanitarian programs are critical to ensuring that they comply with legal and ethical standards. This includes conducting internal audits, receiving feedback from affected communities, and collaborating with external organizations to review practices. Training and capacity building. Humanitarian workers must be trained on IHL and ethical standards before and during their deployment. Capacity building ensures that all personnel are aware of their responsibilities and can identify and respond to ethical challenges. So, I hope you got all that. Well, that will be it for this module. Take the quiz to proceed to the next module. See you on the next module.